Now it's time, snuggle up, little one.
In 1994, a radio show titled Bedtime with Barney would air across multiple radio stations across the country. The show, hosted by Barney himself, originally aired primarily on Sunday nights, until eventually being upped to 5 nights per week. Throughout the 10-minute show, Barney would read out bedtime stories to kids as it would normally air at the start of night. Over 40 different bedtime stories would be read out by Bob West as Barney up until the show's conclusion the year following. Also in 1994, the Lions Group would secure a deal with NBC, allowing Barney to premiere a new video special in a primetime slot. At the time, the Barney brand was at its height, and it seemed no opportunity at that point would be stronger than this. Continuing with the theming of preparing children for bed with story reading, as well as the time slot this new special would air, the new outing was fitted with a name best suited for its premise. It would land on television, premiering live on NBC to millions on April 24, 1994, under the name Bedtime with Barney, Imagination Island.
Oh, hi there, everybody. I'm so glad that you're here. If you want to come along, just use your imagination, because we're going to Imagination Island.
Imagination Island would be written by Stephen White, head writer for the Barney brand for 2 years at that time. Because of this, the new special would maintain a structure familiar to the television series counterpart, yet enough to present itself with its own identity. Rather than within the school, the story instead begins at Tasha's house, as she and Min appear to be having a sleepover. Hope Cervantes and Pia Hamilton reprise their roles as Tasha and Min from the Barney and Friends television series. Tasha also seems to be in possession of the Barney doll from the school setting, implying that any of the kids are free to bring the doll home with them at any given time. Tasha's parents, played by J.D. Mosley and David J. Courtney, also appear as cameos, reprising their roles from the season 2 episode, A Very Special Delivery.
Mom, before we go to bed, may I show Min my new necklace?
Now be sure to take it off before you get into bed.
I will.
After Tasha is presented with a heart-shaped necklace from her mother, Min reads them both a story involving a storm that takes over a pirate ship out on the ocean. Bro, can you imagine if the doll just broke apart? Who's gonna fix that? You think Jess Nelson works at the school? Hey yo, don't worry about it, fam. I got you. He just whips up another one.
Oh no, said the children. It's a storm.
After lightning strikes outside, Barney the dinosaur is then brought to life, which you could say introduces Barney's fear of storms, which I'm sure the Barney Wiki would be more than happy to highlight in the trivia section. Bringing home Barney's founding concept of imagination, Barney reminds the two of the adventures they could have similar to the story they'd read just by pretending.
I'd love to sail on a big ship.
Well, you could, you know.
We could?
Sure, you can do anything if you just imagine. Just imagine, just imagine.
Here's a great spot to highlight the music of Imagination Island. The music is of course handled by the brilliant Bob Singleton. Barney sings a slightly faster arrangement of Just Imagine, a song that first made its debut in the season 2 episode, An Adventure in Make-Believe. And look, I might be biased because I love this song to death, but this has to be the best song in the entire franchise. It just does so much for Barney as a character, while also enforcing exactly what the entire brand is about. The dance number, choreographed by Penny Wilson, also brings forth the charming and carefree nature of Barney the dinosaur with kids. Something I'm sure the crew felt was very important, considering this special would air late at night on NBC to many who either weren't as familiar with the big guy or felt a shallow resentment towards him. The vocals of Bob West are spot on, and longtime Barney body performer David Joyner puts on a stellar performance throughout.
Just imagine all the things that we could be. Imagination's fun for you and me.
Barney invites the girls on an adventure, the entrance being a staircase just behind Tasha's closet doors.
I'll go if you will. Okay.
The gang, now fitted with entirely new outfits, end up on a pirate ship set out on the open sea. So I like to imagine Tasha's mom just comes in to check on them and is like, "Hey, yo, where are my kids at?" And they're just like laughing from the closet like it's the idiot box from SpongeBob. Barney, Min, and Tasha are now set out to find the so-called Imagination Island. But they're not alone. Aboard the ship are characters well known from the Barney and Friends television series, including Derek, played by Ricky Carter, Sean, played by John David Bennett II, BJ, played in Suit by Jeff Brooks and voiced by Patty Wirtz, and Baby Bob, the body played by Jeff Ayers and voiced by Julie Johnson. An interesting thing to point out is during the filming of Imagination Island, Julie Johnson was originally not present, as she would be booked with a Broadway production during that time. Carol Farabee had been brought in to fill this role, as she'd been an understudy for the character for multiple Barney productions. However, after the special finished filming, Johnson was then brought in to dub over this original performance.
Bring back, oh, bring back my blankie to me.
Look, man, I'm sorry, bro. BJ, you know I love you, but I can't stand this suit, man. I'm sorry. Why does he look... I mean, it's clear they wanted to capitalize off the look BJ started out with in season 2, like him being taller and everything. But they must have just been like, okay, but he's 7. So he should be shorter so that he can at least scale with Baby Bob a little bit. Boy ain't got no business being Barney's height. Who do we think he is? But then they just took the head sculpt from the taller suit, shrunk the boy down, and stuck the head on, and it don't look right, man. I'm sorry. This got to be one of my least favorite BJ suits, bro. Oh, God. Anyways.
The sun is shining, there's wind in our sails, and we'll get there before you know it. If somebody steers the ship, whoa!
BJ points out that they just may have found Imagination Island up ahead, to which Barney and friends decide to hop off and explore the land. Also, the ship got stuck up in a tree because of course it did, which means Barney not only invited Tasha and Min onto a ship which almost turned over, but also caused them all to be stranded on an island when they was literally just at home about to go to sleep and their parents will never see him again. Congratulations. The gang receive another outfit change to better suit their new surroundings.
What is that, Tasha?
It's a shell that you can blow like a horn.
Girl, you just got on this island and you literally just picked that up off the ground. Can you not put that in your mouth, please?
Wow. Hey. Oh, I just love this island rhythm.
Here we're introduced to a brand new song made specifically for the special, That's What an Island Is. Another beautiful track simply explaining the nature of islands as a whole.
It's a little bit of ground with water all around, a mountain in the middle and a jungly sound. Birds and the breeze in the coconut trees, that's what an island is.
Before continuing, the crew begin to question their way home.
How are we gonna sail our ship back home?
Does anyone have any ideas?
I could drive.
You can what?
I could drive.
Hey, yo, Baby Bop really said, let me drive the boat. Immediately cut back to... BJ and Baby Bop agree to hop back aboard the ship while the rest carry out on their adventure.
Imagination Island is right this way.
Nearing the end of the long jungle, they discover a large hut and decide to make their way over. This is one of my few nitpicks with the special. The island they find and end up on is supposed to be big and exciting, but that doesn't visually read as well considering there wasn't enough time to fully flesh it out. Of course, this wasn't on the writers or anything, it's just simply wasn't enough time to fit in more elaborate set pieces or details. It's just a tad disappointing the island appears virtually the same as just about any other jungle or forest-filled area that Barney has explored since his creation. That being said, the sets that were built are still just as beautiful as they always are, including the big house that the gang find themselves closing in on. Back on the boat, BJ and Baby Bop are doing things that aren't important. On land, Barney and friends approach this random man's house and are really excited to bother him.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
In reality, though, they're hoping someone inside will be able to help them with repairing their ship.
Oh, let's see if I just turn this.
Why did he say it like that? I'm just gonna turn this, here we go. Enter Professor Tinkerput, a genius inventor residing in this elaborate house played by actor Barry Pearl. Also, can I just say it's very refreshing seeing a character actually react to a giant Tyrannosaurus Rex directly in front of them. It's something you'd imagine would happen often, yet we rarely ever see in the Barney franchise, mainly because it's always implied that Barney just knows any and every new person they come across because he's Barney. Tinkerput invites the little explorers into his house, where we find he's the creator of various different toys and contraptions, to which he is the only one on the planet to know about, as he refuses to share his creations with anyone.
I built myself for myself, and if you get it, please don't touch.
Barry Pearl gives an amazing performance as Tinkerput, all with exaggerated gestures and wonderful voice work, especially throughout a song specifically for the character, respectively titled Tinkerput's Song.
My name's Professor Tinkerput. You may think it's funny, but I like it very much.
While the dinosaur siblings are aboard the boat and still being very much unimportant, Tinkerput tells the kids he can't help with their predicament as he's entangled in his own. A balloon-making toy that won't function. The machine needs a gear to be spun, with an object that can knock a dial as it spins. We then find out that the necklace Tasha was given by her mother is the perfect size to fit the machine. She offers the necklace and the machine starts right back up again, much to the surprise of Tinkerput, not due to the toy's fixing, but Tasha's generosity. Here we learn the message of this special being not just imagination, but the concept of sharing and lending a hand to those who need it. Realizing the joy that sharing can bring to others, the professor then goes around offering his toys to the kids to play with.
Does it make you happy?
Yep.
Well, and that makes me happy.
The toy Barney is presented with is a giant mobile music maker, much resembling one of those cart pushing machines you see at Walmart. They then sing and dance along to a surprisingly well choreographed arrangement of If You're Happy and You Know It. I'm not gonna lie, they was kind of hidden that, to be honest.
If you're happy and you know it, stamp your feet. If you're happy
Okay.
and you know it, stamp your feet.
Tinkerput, having learned this important factor of life, seems to impact him greatly, thanking Tasha for her gesture, and announcing his desire to create new toys for children worldwide, as opposed to himself alone. Realizing Tinkerput's dilemma had been solved, the gang decide to ask him again if he can lend his knowledge to help them leave the island, to which he responds,
There is no way to get your ship down from those trees.
Oh. Then why are you smiling?
Because I think there is another way to sail your ship. And just wait till you see what it is.
Leaving Tinkerput's house, they all return to the ship and begin fitting it with tons of giant balloons straight from the professor's newly fixed machine.
This is super duper. When can we take off?
Whenever you say so, Captain Barney.
Look, these balloons are just what we needed.
Now rising off the balloons, the ship takes off into the sky, with Barney behind the wheel as they all sail off into the night. In comes what I believe to be the most brilliantly written and emotional scene throughout the entire franchise.
This is wonderful. Who could have imagined that one day I'd sail on a flying ship?
I think I know who could have imagined it.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Just imagine.
The camera pans up to Barney, steering the ship created by the kids' imagination as he sings a beautiful reprise of Just Imagine. There is no better and stronger way to emphasize the message the writers are trying to tell than by having the carefree title character unknowingly bringing the story to an end in the same way that it began.
Imagination's fun for you and me.
Tinkerput returns Tasha's necklace, saying he can make replicas at his new toy workshop in remembrance of her and her friends. Approaching Tasha's home, the professor stops the ship, to which Barney converses with the kids one last time. One would think this is the moment that the famous I Love You song would ring out, but for legal reasons, it literally couldn't. And in this instance, it was better for it. Without going into too much detail, as that's a topic for a future video, in 1994, the Lions Group would be entangled in a lawsuit revolving around the usage of the franchise's flagship song, I Love You. The lawsuit issued by Warren Publishing created complications, forcing the song out of many different Barney productions during that time period, including the Barney's Favorites Volume 2 CD, and even Barney Live in New York City. As such, the song also had to be omitted from Imagination Island. Although this would be the case, this would not stop the production crew from filling that void. Taking its place would be an entirely remade and slower variation of the song, It's Good to Be Home, which first made its debut in the home video, Barney's Magical Musical Adventure.
Whenever you're here to hug and be near, you are so special to me.
Not only would this be a beautiful new arrangement, but a perfect book ending to the story that puts forth the same message as I Love You and allows Barney's Imagination Island to maintain its own unique identity.
Remember, I love you.
Tasha and Min arrive back home before being checked up on by Tasha's mother, finally, and heading to bed. The special ends on Barney being placed back onto the windowsill as the ship piloted by Professor Tinkerput sails off to who knows where. Bedtime with Barney Imagination Island was seen by nearly 8 million viewers the night that it premiered. The special would then be released on VHS as Barney's Imagination Island later that same year. The special was important for a variety of reasons, one of which being the ability to teach and entertain just as the television counterpart would do, even while in a primetime setting. Imagination Island also gave the vibe that the crew members as well as the cast were just having fun, doing what they did best and never forgetting the lessons that they preached. You have fun doing what you love, sharing it with those dear to your heart, and preaching love. As it lives in the minds of fans around the world, it resides as my own personal favorite home video, one that will forever live deep in my heart, for as long as I can just imagine.